Question: what comes to mind when you think of South African fashion? Cause I'm not gonna lie guys, it's this picture right here, this picture of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was probably the most swagged out president we've ever had. This guy had aura, you guys, this guy had motion, bro. Anyways, this is how Google thinks South African fashion looks like. At first I was confused because that's not how you dress like anymore, am I right? But don't get me wrong, this is South African fashion at its core, and something that took multiple generations of designers to build brick by brick. It's something that multiple generations of South African designers built, which is why I'm gonna give y'all a little history on South African fashion. Quick disclaimer, you guys, I failed history. I was never an A student in history, guys, so bruh, leave me alone, bruh. This might not be the perfect description, okay? During the apartheid era, SA fashion lagged behind trends compared to the rest of the world, but in a way this was beneficial because it forced designers to create aesthetics with little to no Western influence. Then fast forward to the post-apartheid era, a shift in South African fashion was marked. You know, things leaned hard into the Rainbow Nation identity. Designers such as Stoned Cherry reclaimed the South African traditional prints like the shusha prints, which honestly, I don't know, I honestly think shusha prints are overrated, especially when compared to like Ndebele prints. Have y'all seen Ndebele prints? Let me just show y'all the colors. This is the color right here. Okay, this is how this shit looks. Do y'all see this? Try painting your house in shusha prints and let's see what happens. Nah, I'm dead ass. Like, try painting. To this day, designers still evolve South African fashion, making it contemporary, a word that means acceptable in modern day standards. But as important as traditional fashion is to South Africa, I think it's safe to say that this isn't how the average South African is pulling up to work, unless it's Heritage Day, of course, or a day like that. This is the best South African fashion brand that I could find that I feel like best evolved South African fashion. I genuinely see myself wearing this Matkosa brand if I had like 10,000 bands in my account right now, of course. Now it's time to address the elephant in the room, because that's one big ass elephant right there. Western influences. The same time designers were taking back traditional prints, cultural influences such as America started to take over the daily attire of South Africans. An example would be the swankas with an A. I don't know why it's an A, it should be an E. Like, every time I think about it, why is it swankas? It should be swang. The swankers are a group of black South African men who would take part in fashion competitions to see who had the most swag, because it was always about the swag, you guys. Even when you're fighting for your freedom, swag still matters, you guys. And by comparing the swankers fashion to American fashion at the time, you can clearly see the influence. You can barely see the difference, you know? It's day and day. But at least back then, people were still wearing original clothing. Fast forward to this very day, Western fashion has almost taken over not just South Africa, but many other countries too. And this is why this video was so damn hard for me to make. I get that South African fashion at its core is traditional, but besides tradition, how do average South Africans dress like? How do South Africans actually dress like? Well, I'ma start with the basics. Here's where each class of South African buys their clothing. Now, I want you to take a close look at this. So now I want you to focus on the lower class. Look at all these brands and tell me what you see. A bunch of NPCs, am I right? Most of these retailers are South African and most of them follow international trends. And because of this, most South Africans dress like NPCs. Now, let's shift our focus to the middle class. Middle class South Africans are probably the best dressed, but they're also the ones more likely to buy fake clothing, which was fine a couple years ago because fakes were so easy to spot. But today the game has changed, brother. The game has changed. People are doing too much. Rick Owens from Shein, Balenciaga from Small Street, and Chrome Hearts straight from Team. Gucci purses are popping in taxi ranks, and thugs don't even get surprised when they snatch a Gucci wallet and it's completely empty. Cause what did you expect? Middle class kids are LARPing as rich, mysterious rappers because of one word, opium. And I cannot mention opium without mentioning the legendary Latwizi era. One thing I love
that say one person has died after over 5,000 teenagers stormed the Mall of Africa this past weekend. They were taking part in a TikTok challenge called Latwizi.
One thing I loved about this era was that it was a breath of fresh air to fashion, people finally dressing differently in South Africa. That's why it made me so happy. What I hated about it, the bar was set so low that all you needed was a black zip-up hoodie with some ugly ass skeletons on it. And we can thank Shein for that. Shein also changed the game. Shein was basically the uprising of the Latusi era, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, the problem here is that kids were buying the same clothes. It was all black. It was killing creativity. So it had to go. It had to go. Let's shift the focus to upper class citizens. Upper class South Africans cannot dress, which is ironic because majority of South Africans are LARPing as upper class citizens. When I said upper class South Africans cannot dress, I meant you can't tell if someone is actually rich or is using the kids' grant to buy fake designer clothing. Yeah, that's how the game is, bruh. People seem to think that status equals to swag, when in reality, swanking equals to swag, bruh. Swank, that's the real thing. That's the real fashion. Swank, swankers, that was where the swag is. Majority of South Africans have something I'd like to call groove attire, because you mostly see these kinds of outfits at clubs and parties, and partying is a big thing here in SA. Listen buddy, I'm sure you're wondering what point I'm trying to make here. And yeah man, the facts are simple. South Africans are NPCs. Our local retailers take months to catch up, and niggas just dress for the status, bruh. This video is called South African fashion for a reason. What if I told you there was a trend that wasn't influenced, and that this trend was so unique that only South Africans could recognize it? Not only that, but it actually originating from South Africa. Let me introduce, or rather remind you of the Skhothane era, or as I like to call it, Osmoda season. I am almost 100% sure that this is one of the few movements that started right here in South Africa. Things like pink Carvelas, DMD shirts, caps, pants, you name it. And it wasn't just about looking rich, it was about proving that you're actually rich. Wasting food, pouring perfectly good custard on the floor. My sources, aka TikTok comments, say that the Skhothane era really took off around 2012, and by 2018 it had mostly faded. After that, it was mostly just the outcasts keeping it alive, and you probably know them today as Shibishit fans. Honestly, if this guy stopped slapping his fans and made music that wasn't absolute bullshit, the whole aesthetic could have evolved into something like really special, Now, the next and last thing I want to talk about is South African fashion brands. But I can't do that. Why? It's been roughly a month since I recorded the first clip. I don't know why this video took so long to make. If y'all blow up this video, then I'm obviously gonna make more videos about South African fashion, especially the brands. Wait, I was talking about South African fashion brands, and it slipped my mind that I was literally wearing an example. This shirt is from a brand established right here in South Africa. It's called Boy. And I don't know, y'all can be the judge of how it looks. But yeah, there's so much I can talk about. If you wanna give me some intel, feel free to join the blunt room. The blunt room. Feel free to join the blunt room, which is a group chat it's a group chat. I don't even know why it exists anymore, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, if you wanna talk to me, I guess you can join the blunt room. And oh yeah, and one last thing, I want you to take a glance at the subscribe button. Notice how lustful it is, and that lust is not for me, because I've already subscribed. It's for you, brother. The subscribe button wants you to click it. So yeah, click the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.